The year 2004 was a year to remember in pop culture. Kanye West dropped The College Dropout, changing the hip-hop landscape for good. Mean Girls hit theaters, reaching cult status in a matter of weeks. And Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson were in the news for all the wrong or right reasons, however you look at it. On the hardwood, the 03-04 NBA season was filled with defining moments. From the creation of super teams to the rise of the league's most underrated team, from new blood entering the league to current stars falling off a cliff, you're going to want to stay tuned for this chapter as we dive into this action-packed season in the NBA in the year 2004, a year in review. The 03-04 offseason kicked off with arguably the most dominant draft class in league history. High school phenom LeBron James is drafted first overall by his hometown Cleveland Cavaliers and instantly becomes must-see TV. The expectations are grand in the city of Cleveland, the state of Ohio, and frankly, the entire league and country. And he shows us, night in and night out, that he truly is worthy of being dubbed the Chosen One, showcasing flashes of greatness every single night. As great as LeBron looked in his rookie year, it wasn't just him. This draft class featured many more future Hall of Famers. You had Carmelo Anthony, who got drafted third by the Denver Nuggets. The talented scorer from Syracuse could get buckets from three, from the mid-range, and in the post. You also had Chris Bosh, drafted fourth by the Toronto Raptors, a versatile and talented big man that was ushering in the post-Vince Carter era in Toronto. And you of course can't forget Dwayne Wade, drafted fifth by the Miami Heat. As athletic and dynamic a two guard we've seen in the league, the young Wade was showing flashes of brilliance in his rookie campaign. The league was looking like it was in incredibly good and capable hands with these fresh faces entering the league, but as the 03-04 season was quickly approaching, the face of the league was still Kobe Bryant. Kobe was the most talented, the most gifted, and the most marketable player in the league, and no one seemed close to taking that crown away from him. That is, until the 2003 offseason. During this offseason, a dark cloud would come over the league and its brightest young star. The 24-year-old Kobe was charged with sexual assault in Eagle, Colorado, after a 19-year-old hotel employee accused him of rape. This case reached massive media attention, and Kobe quickly went from being the face of the league with a squeaky clean image to the most polarizing, most controversial, and most villainous figure in the league. Many brands dropped Kobe as a partner, including McDonald's, Sprite, Spalding, and others. And not only were these brands distancing themselves from Kobe, but so were his teammates. And none more important than Shaq. This case further damaged the already tenuous relationship between Shaq and Kobe, and it was looking like only a matter of time before one of them left LA. Only another championship could fix their problems, and maybe not even that. However, it wasn't all bad in LA. Fresh off the Lakers' second-round exit the year prior to the eventual champion San Antonio Spurs, the Lakers retooled their roster in a big way. They formed the first super team in the modern NBA by signing veterans Gary Payton and Karl Malone. Both Payton and Malone took huge pay cuts to join the Shaq and Kobe-led Lakers and make one last run at the title. And as the season kicked off, the Lakers looked dominant. The Lakers were firing on all cylinders. Karl Malone was the additional muscle Shaq needed down low, and Gary Payton was providing veteran leadership and defense at point guard. And Shaq and Kobe were still their dominant selves, probably the two best players in the NBA, but at this point they could not stand each other, and they just grew to hate each other as the days, weeks, and months went along. A powder keg was truly about to explode at some point, and it seemed like the entire league was just bracing themselves. As the Lakers' locker room was falling apart, another team in the Western Conference was finding new life. For the past 3 years, Kevin Garnett had been a top 5 NBA player. As versatile a power forward the league has ever seen, there was nothing on the basketball court he couldn't do. But what made him truly special was the passion, energy, and tenacity he brought to the court every single night. It's just that while in Minnesota, he was the lone wolf. Well, that is until this season. His team finally got some talent around him. Point guard Sam Cassell and forward Latrell Sprewell joined KG in Minnesota this season to make some serious noise in the Western Conference. As soon as KG got the help he deserved all these years, he catapulted his team to the top of the Western Conference, and he would win a well-deserved league MVP, averaging 24 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 assists. Despite KG's MVP campaign and the superstar Lakers battling it out in the West, it was the Eastern Conference that would feature the most dominant team in the league that year with the Indiana Pacers. Led by rising star Jermaine O'Neal, he was turning into one of the best two-way big men in the NBA, masterful in the post and a shot-blocking machine. Standing alongside O'Neal was small forward Ron Artest, who was enjoying a breakout campaign, earning his first All-Star appearance as well as being named Defensive Player of the Year. Artest was the first non-big man to win the award since Gary Payton did so in 1996, so this was pretty special and truly highlighted the impact that Artest had on the defensive end. O'Neal, Artest, and an aging but still very capable Reggie Miller led these Pacers all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals with a date with the Detroit Pistons. Both Detroit and Indiana hung their hats on defense, so this series was an absolute bloodbath. It was physical, it was slow, and it was sometimes hard to watch, but if you were a true basketball fan, you appreciated the back and forth between these two defensive juggernauts. What made these Detroit Pistons in particular so great was that there was no one superstar. They were a compilation of just very good players. Ben Wallace was their defensive anchor down low. Chauncey Billups and Richard Hamilton were capable guards who never stole media headlines like Kobe, T-Mac, or Iverson, but were just as good, if not better, at some moments this season. Rasheed Wallace was a critical acquisition during the midpoint of the season that brought Detroit a much-needed element of toughness, leadership, and attitude. And Tayshaun Prince was a quiet but incredibly lethal defender who made the most important play in Game 2 of this series. With Detroit leading by 2 points with only a couple seconds left, Reggie Miller found himself wide open for a game-tying layup until Prince came out of literally nowhere.
Tinsley, Reggie Miller, and it's blocked again. In the open court, looked like an easy layup for a tie, and Tayshaun Prince came out of nowhere.
It was a good block. I got to tell you, live, I thought it might be goaltending, but I think that is one of the most amazing blocks that I have ever seen.
This is one of the most underrated plays and moments in NBA playoff history. A true gut punch to Reggie Miller and the Indiana Pacers, and an iconic moment for Detroit Pistons fans. Detroit would ride this wave and defeat Indiana in 6 games, punching their ticket to the NBA Finals to meet the star-studded Los Angeles Lakers. And as the finals were about to kick off, no one was giving Detroit any chance of winning. How could a team filled with no stars defeat a team filled with 4 future Hall of Famers? But as Game 1 kicked off, the narrative quickly shifted. Detroit was able to neutralize Shaq, with both Ben and Rasheed Wallace matching Shaq's size down low. Tayshaun Prince more than neutralized Kobe. He was able to force Kobe into having his worst playoff series ever. Kobe was not able to catch any rhythm or get on any kind of scoring run, and it was because of an overlooked yet supremely masterful defensive effort from Tayshaun Prince. And although Chauncey Billups and Richard Hamilton were kept off the All-Star list this season, they were looking like the 2 best guards in the series. When the dust settled, Detroit pulled off the greatest upset in NBA history and defeated the Los Angeles Lakers in 5 games. It was both a stunning victory for Detroit and an epic collapse for Los Angeles that still gets talked about today. I don't care what anyone says, these Detroit Pistons are the most underrated team in league history. Hands down, no questions about it. It was truly a David versus Goliath moment. A Detroit Pistons team that had no superstar defeating a Los Angeles Lakers team that was filled with them. A Detroit Pistons team who no one believed in defeated a Lakers team that was assembled to win. These Detroit Pistons showed that heart and hustle could outshine flash and flare any day of the year. These Detroit Pistons dismantled the Los Angeles Lakers, not just in this series, but for years to come. Can you name me a better underrated team in league history? It's 0-4 Detroit, and it's not even close.